Hello, hello, welcome back. I don't know what this was, but I wanted to do another book tag. I found this book tag on Michaela May Hilt's channel, and I thought it just fit me really well because it's called the Slow Reader book tag. And if you've been on my channel for any length of time, you'll probably have heard me confess that I am a slow reader. I want to do my best to answer these questions as the books that I've read with my eyes, which is kind of the point of the slow reading, because I love audiobooks. I read a lot of audiobooks, and I can read the audiobooks fairly quickly. I don't really do 2x speed, like I know a lot of booktubers can listen to audiobooks at 2x speed. I max will go 1.5, but usually I'm in like the 120 to 140, I'm sorry, the 1.2 to 1.4 range. So anyway, that's besides the point. I'm going to do my best to answer these questions with books I've read with my eyes. Okay, what's your Goodreads goal for the year? I don't actually utilize the Goodreads goal properly. I just plunk in whatever year it is. So like this year I did 25 books. That's nothing to me. Like, I don't intend to read 25 books, whatever. I just put it in so that Goodreads will track what I'm doing for the year. I wish there was a way that Goodreads would track without having a number goal, but I don't think that's possible. So I just put whatever the year is, and in terms of not a Goodreads goal, but just like a personal goal, I don't usually set one at the beginning of the year because I don't care really. So because I chose to read less this year, at this point now, at the end of August, I am kind of thinking I would like to make it to 100 books this year. So it's kind of a goal now to read 100 this year. In the past couple of years I've read 200 in the year, so I've definitely read less this year, which has been good. But yeah, that's kind of my personal reading goal / Goodreads reading goal. Question 2, how many books do you read per month? Okay, so we're not including audiobooks. We will include graphic novels though. So then I'll say I read 0 to 4 or 5 a month with my eyes. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go with that. If we included audiobooks, there would be more, of course, but I'm trying to refrain. So question number 3, how many days does it take you to read a book? Now that's going to be with my eyes again, and it depends. It absolutely depends. It depends on the book, depends on my mood, depends on my life circumstances, like how much time do I have to devote to reading. Yeah, depends how interesting the book is or interested I am in the book. And yeah, it really depends. I have read more recently, I won't go back into my childhood, but more recently I have read a book in 2 days, I would say, up to 2 years probably. So yeah, it depends. If you want an average, because I still do audiobooks and those tend to take priority for me, that does factor into how much I read physically, because if I were to cut out all audiobooks, I would be reading more with my eyes. That's just a fact. So because I do a lot of audiobooks, I would say at this moment probably 3 to 4 weeks for a book. Yeah. Next up, are you always reading or do you take breaks in between? I'm always reading. Now that could be a book that I've had on the back burner that I started, haven't finished it, it's not been high priority, but I do intend to finish it. I still count that as reading that book. If I've intentionally put it aside and I intentionally won't read it until I come back to it and I'll have to restart it or whatever, that's different. But like, for example, I think like 2 years ago in my birthday month, I started the Dick Tracy book. Still haven't finished it, but I still consider myself reading it because it's still kicking around in my reading spot in my house, and if I'm ever bored, I can pick it up. You know, like I am still going through it slowly. What was the question? I've lost track. Do I always read or am I taking breaks? Okay. The only time you could consider me taking a break would be in a reading slump. I don't actually take breaks intentionally, but if I'm in a reading slump, we'll consider that a break. Next up, what book took you particularly long to read? That would be this one, The Breaking Point by Karen Ball. No real reason, because I did end up giving this one a 4-star. So it wasn't like it was terrible or I was having a bad time. It was just one of those cases where every time I thought about this book, I was interested in something else. I just wanted to read something else. So this one took me like years to finish. Oh boy. And I did actually restart this one at one point. Yeah. Did I? I don't even remember. It was such a long process. But anyway, there it is. Do big books intimidate you? Show a big book you're intimidated by. Now, big books don't intimidate me. Even if we're looking at reading with your eyes. I actually love the feeling of holding a big book and like cracking open a big book. Not necessarily cracking the spine, guys, don't freak out. But like, you know, opening this big book and it's got so many pages and you're just, you know, you're in for a long haul. I love that feeling. So big books actually excite me. They don't intimidate me at all. However, I did pull out 2 from my collection. These 2 are on my 40 books to read before I turn 40, and it is going to be War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, which is this big, as well as Nicholas Nickleby by Charles Dickens, this big. I've only read A Christmas Carol, and so I don't really know how I'm going to feel about Charles Dickens' writing. And then I haven't read too much for Russian authors, so I don't know if I'm going to love Leo Tolstoy's writing. So in that way, these 2 books are intimidating me. Also, this one, not sure if I'm going to like the content or not, because I don't read war type books, so I don't know how much war is in here, or if it's more like, I don't know what it is. And then this one, I've already watched the movie, so I don't know if having watched the movie is going to be to my detriment, and I'm not going to enjoy this because I've already watched the movie, and I love the movie, but, you know. So, that's my conversation on these 2. Question 7. Which book have you actually read in one day, or super quickly? So, we are going to talk about more recently in my adult life, and it will be Sketchy Behavior by Erin Mangum. This one is such a surprise and very much an anomaly because it's written in first person. So if you guys know me, I don't read first person. I don't enjoy it. I can't, most of the time, I can't get out of my own head because the book doesn't let me, because it's written in first person, so it's forcing you to be in your own head. But anyway, you guys know about my qualms with first person. Anywho, so yeah, this one took me 2 days. Well, I read it one day, finished it the next day, so I don't know how many hours it actually was, but Sketchy Behavior by Erin Mangum. This is Christian YA, I would say. Yeah, teenager stuff, you know, YA contemporary. So I'm gonna go with this one. And I heard about this one from Lindsay at BFCG because she loves Erin Mangum. It's so hot today, guys. I'm loving it, but also sweating. Question 8. Which book genre takes you the longest to read? This one, I have no clue, because I don't think it has anything to do with the genre. You know? For me, it has more to do with how large it is and how interested I am in it. Maybe the way it was written. Like maybe once I've dabbled in big, thick classics a little bit more, maybe it will lean towards classics because the vernacular and the way of speaking is a lot different from nowadays. So it could be classics. I don't know. I don't think I've actually read too many classics with my eyes, to be honest. I should try that. Next up, a book you regret reading because you spent so much time with it, because I'm a slow reader, for so little payoff. Now, this one was also a hard question to answer because I'm trying to keep it with books that I've read with my eyes, but this question was a little bit hard to answer that way. I generally feel like if I'm not enjoying it, I will DNF it. So I don't typically find myself getting to the end of a book with my eyes because it takes a lot more energy and time to read with my eyes of a book I don't enjoy, right? Does that make sense? So I'm going to answer this question with audiobooks. I know that's not the question, not the point of this tag, but I wanted to answer the question and this was the way I could answer it. So I actually have 3 I wanted to talk to you guys about. So one of them was Moby Dick by Herman Melville. This was just such a dry book, and like if I was reading it with my eyes, I mean I don't think I would have read any of these. Well, yeah, I would have. Never mind. This one I wouldn't have read with my eyes, just because of how dense it is with like information about whales specifically. But I don't think I would regret reading this one because I buddy read it with Chantel, my friend. And so I can't regret that experience, you know? So, plus it is kind of a little personal victory to finish a big book like this. The next one is going to be a clutching the pearls moment for all of the fantasy readers out there. But Way of Kings, didn't love it. No, I've liked other books from him more than this one, and this one is huge, so I spent a lot of time in here. I did listen to it with audiobooks, so it was less time than had I read with my eyes, and yet it was probably still like in the 20 hours or more. 35 hours? I don't know. Probably something huge like that. So I did spend a lot of time with it. Didn't really need to. Don't remember the experience. I don't know if I would regret it because at least now I know I didn't like it. Whereas beforehand, when everyone would talk about Way of Kings, I'd always be like, I wonder if I'd like that book, you know? So at least I don't have to wonder about that anymore, but Way of Kings. And then this last one you guys can probably predict. And I would say I regretted it because of how much I disliked it. And that would be The Nightmare Virus by Nadine Brandes, which was so sad that I didn't love it because I've loved her other books. So huge disappointment. Again, I regret it except for the fact that I would always be wondering, would I like that book? So now I know I don't like it. So I guess those are the 3 answers for that, even though they were all consumed via audiobook. Now, this last question, again, it says recommend other slow readers a book, and why would you recommend that one? So it's wanting me to suggest a book to other people who read slowly. And you can't just give a recommendation like that. Like, a recommendation has to be based on what you're interested in, not based on how quickly you can read, right? So I feel like that's a little bit of an odd question. So if I have to answer, I guess I would say maybe pick up a graphic novel. I don't know. You'll be able to breeze through it because there's a lot less words, and you'll feel accomplished because you've read a book. Don't know what else to say. So I'm supposed to tag other slow readers, and I don't know who would consider themselves a slow reader. So if you think you're a slow reader and you would like to do this tag, do it. It was good. It was fun. I love doing tags. They're one of my favorite parts about BookTube. Actually, it probably is my favorite part about BookTube is tags. I just find them fun. I find them entertaining to watch other people's videos when they do tags, and yeah. Anyway, let's wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any answers. If you're a slow reader and you don't want to do this tag per se, let me know in the comments some of your answers. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye!